All right, it's the rundown. Friday, January 26, 2024, already off and running. My name's Tyler Prom. I'm hosting the rundown today, joined by Mr. Jeff Fibber and at Clem Report on Twitter. How we doing today, guys?
It's not an official rundown unless you fuck up the date, and you did that. So you're off to a good start. That's perfect.
Check the one more box.
Dave's ass is on the hot seat now because he has someone that can fuck up the day even worse than him. I love
Maybe
it.
It's just the share. You know, I'm in Dave's office right here in the Barstool headquarters, which is the coolest thing. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. But first topic on the rundown, we have the NFL playoffs. 3 p.m. game is Kansas City at Baltimore, and the 6:30 game, Detroit at San Francisco. Baltimore is favored by 4, and San Fran's favored by 7. Now, the line may move a little bit. The line for the Kansas City-Baltimore game was Baltimore -3, but it moved to -4. Personally, you got to bet on Pat Mahomes. You know, the NFL wants Taylor Swift coming by, but Lamar Jackson.
I'm nervous because they said how bad of a gambler you were before we started this, and I had obviously if Mahomes is the dog, you got to go with him. But now I'm questioning everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's one way to think about it, but yeah.
But I guess we're riding this weekend.
So yeah, for the people at home who are just like, what the fuck's going on? This is Tyler Prom. He won the John Rich rundown contest for Cyber Monday, bought the most gear. So we all are now friends with Tyler, which is very nice. And look, John Rich makes a promise. He's like a Lannister. He pays his debts. Tyler not only won, got to come in the office. I would have come in the office if I knew we were gonna have a rundown guest. I thought this was gonna be a remote rundown. But then we also learned that Tyler once walked from Brooklyn to Manhattan, which is no short walk for the people out from New York, for a Barstool intern interview 4 years ago. Is that right?
Yeah. I was a viceroy back then, and I got selected to come interview for the summer internship. It was 2 weeks before COVID happened, and I was staying at my cousin's in Brooklyn, but I didn't know how the subways worked. Now I got absolutely dogged. I figured them out the next day and stuff, but yeah, I walked. It was like 6 hours, but like I wasn't walking directly from her place to the office. I wanted to check out the city and stuff. I talked about that a little bit on the Yak a couple, that 4 years ago, so no one probably remembers that anyway. But didn't end up getting it. COVID kind of ruined some things about that, but yeah. It's good to be back,
As someone from the Midwest who isn't familiar with like public transit, I was terrified of the subways as well. Like I would walk everywhere and avoid the subway at all costs. It was intimidating. So I don't blame you. I think that's completely valid.
Yeah,
Brooklyn to Manhattan's a little crazier, but
and the taxis are crazy in their own. I guess you just go Uber, you could do that, but the yellow taxis are maybe even crazier, or like the one like group of people that are crazier than whatever's residing in the subway. But the maps, everything looks like it's in another language and you're not from the area. I've lived in New York my whole life, and the first time I took the subway, I was terrified. 6 hours is an outrageous walk, but also, like you said, like I don't think anyone remembers life before COVID, basically. So shout out to Tyler. I'm gonna guess, Tyler. Let me see if I can guess where you're from based on your accent, where you went to college. I'm gonna say Central Florida.
Yeah, you nailed it. I don't know what gave that away. You must have something about you.
Were you there for Taco Fall?
Yeah, no, so him and I was a team manager for the basketball team my freshman year, and I was a year ahead of him. And we actually, the day that he did his official visit, it was the same day I had my official visit for the manager job. So we actually got our tour around the arena and the facilities and campus and stuff together. So him and I actually, we've known each other for a little bit.
Did anyone get you guys confused? Being like, Taco? Oh, no, you're Taco.
Right. No, all the time. My 5'8" stature. We might look alike a little bit, but...
I shout out Taco Fall. He got me to Vegas during the Bracket Busters way back in the day, so I'll always have a warm place in my heart for UCF. But we also heard, in addition to that story of the 6 hour walk, Tyler is basically was giving out picks on a street, and you are basically on the planet, at least during those picks. Is that correct?
Yeah, I sometimes I win. A lot of my buddies will say most times I lost. You guys are saying I lost every single one. That's not true. I definitely have at least a 25% success rate. So, I don't bet this amount of money.
Our sources claimed you were the worst gambler of all time.
I've heard about this source. Now, if you want to say that to my face and fade me, we can talk about that later. But pick of the night, we got Orlando at Memphis. Orlando Magic favored by 6 points tonight. Yeah, I'm going to be taking the Magic. The boys are coming back. We haven't had a really good month so far, but away, Memphis is going to be sleeping on us like everybody seems to, and we're going to run the table. And we might even come away with the 3 seed this year in the East. So Magic -6 pick of the night.
Orlando started off the season so strong. What happened? Like I don't follow the Magic that closely. I just know they're like an 8 seed now.
Yeah, we've suffered some injuries and stuff. Right now we're sitting at 8, but like we're like a game and a half out from being the 5 seed. Now
Right.
we beat the Celtics. We've gotten absolutely, crushed by the Sixers and stuff. I actually got to go to the Sixers at Magic game, and then Embiid sat out, and they still beat us by 30. So this team you can't keep up with them. Young guys, core group. We don't really have that superstar yet. Paolo Banchero is looking amazing. He seems to be the guy that's going to rise to that spot. But you need to surround him, and you need people to surround him around, and just hit threes, play defense, take advantage of fouls. Just keep chopping that wood.
Yeah.
I don't think I have the nerve to bet the Grizzlies blindly in terms of like just to fade Tyler here. But I was really tossing and turning about this Chiefs-Ravens game. I think Vibs, you touched on it too. Betting against Patrick Mahomes feels like a fool's errand, especially when he's a dog. Thing is, like, I don't know. I feel like the Ravens have the best unit in terms of the defense. Their unit, their defense is awesome. Then I'd say Ravens offense, Chiefs defense is kind of the next two, and then it's Chiefs offense, and Patrick Mahomes is basically just carrying those fucks out of the abyss. I think Tooney's out, which feels like a big deal in terms of offensive line. So I was really I was actually thinking just going Chiefs blindly before the spread even came out. And then I just met someone who walked 6 hours from Brooklyn who went to Central Florida, who basically just put forth in my head, I guess it's Ravens for me. I guess I'm going Ravens. Vibs, are you changing your bet now?
I'm riding with the Chiefs. I'm riding with Patrick Mahomes.
I gotta say, Clem, it's UCF, not Central Florida. Let's, fix that. If you want to, it's a free country. Say what you want, but
I do not want to piss off UCF people. Get very angry. I've seen all the discourse online over the years. I'm not looking. They are friends of mine. They got me to Vegas. UCF it is. I do apologize to you and the UCF.
Mutual respect is given. I'll sit with that.
Oh man.
Yeah, then we got Detroit at San Fran.
Yes. Yeah. So let me hear this one, Tyler.
So San Francisco -7. Baltimore and the 49ers seem to be the best 2 teams in the league as the course of the season, but you don't have to be the best team all season to be the better team one night. I hate Detroit. I'm a Green Bay Packers guy. I don't hate Detroit as much as I don't like the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings, but San Fran -7, over under 51.5. San Fran's offense is going to put up 42. Detroit's offense is pretty fiery. It's going to be a shootout. San Francisco -7.
Do we know what's the status of Deebo Samuel? Because I know their offense is just like completely different when Deebo Samuel's out. Do we know anything about that?
I think last I saw he was questionable. But
yeah, questionable. Now this is the thing here. Shoulder like I was thinking, it's bad that he's hurt, but like shoulder injury, just get the fuck out of bounds. It's not like he's going to be slowed down by it, right? So that should help it. It's a threshold thing. So I don't know, Vibs. What are you? I got to hear the lean here, Vibs.
I'm going Lions.
Midwestern. This guy's Mr. Midwestern.
No. I've been off the Lions
and the fucking Detroit.
I've gone 49ers, I think, every week, and I think I've lost every week. So I gotta switch it up. I gotta go Lions.
State of Michigan is on a hot streak right now. I don't blame you, but we're talking about the 49ers who literally had to go to their 4th-string quarterback last year, and he got hurt to get knocked out of the NFC Championship by the Eagles. So you don't think they have a little chip on their shoulder with them being this close?
For sure. But 7.5 is just a lot can happen. Like the Packers had got like 10 and they ended up covering last week. I'm riding with the Lions. Why not? Going at kneecaps.
I did happen to check the weather here because Brock Purdy has baby hands apparently that can't handle a wet football.
Yeah.
I have baby hands too, basically, so I'm not here to throw any shade. How are hand size, Vibs? What's your hand size looking like?
Oh, baby hands.
Baby, we got a bunch of baby hands. How about you, Tyler?
The man meat look massive though. That's the plus size.
I'm doing the little fish trick where you put it closer to the camera to make him look.
Yeah,
good.
that was smart. That was good. Fuck, I'm going like. If you don't have any skin in the game, it's like, do I really want to root against the Detroit Lions for a couple bucks? No, fuck no. Like, I'm going to choose the Lions. Now, the thing is, I don't have like a rivalry with them. I feel like if you're a Niners fan or I think even some NFC North fans are probably like rooting for the Lions because they've been the black sheep of the division so long. I think
wouldn't
there's
mind.
enough. Yeah, exactly. So I just because of that, especially if you get the points too, just give me the 7.5. I feel like we're due for just an ugly, brutal fight between the Niners and the Lions. Like it just feel like in the trenches, it's going to be fun. So,
Two tough teams.
yeah, two tough teams. I love the Niners. I had like their entire offense in fantasy. They won me a fantasy championship. Want to shout that out because I know people in my league will be mad that I just said that into the internet to thousands of people. But fuck them. Love the Niners. Love Christian McCaffrey. Love Brock Purdy. But I mean, you got to go Lions. Lions Bills might have been like the end of humanity though in Vegas if those two fan bases were going there for the Super Bowl.
I don't think anybody would make the game. They'd all be fighting each other out front.
Some people are saying the Lions are like the lovable loser and they don't want them to get the Super Bowl because they want them to keep being the lovable loser. And I kind of agree with that. I kind of want them to lose this game. So next season, like, then they can make it a step further. Then they can make it to the Super Bowl. Then they can lose in the Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm kind of on that boat.
As someone that roots for a loser franchise in baseball, I want all the loser franchises to win their championships. So then our turn comes up in the sports gods. I feel like the Mets are standing behind somebody right now. I don't know who it is, but I need that person to get out of the fucking line so we can then go to the front of the line.
The Mets aren't lovable losers, though. They're
That's
just like, hateable losers.
We are. I don't know. We just get dunked on all the time. After the Rangers won the World Series, I think ESPN's first tweet about it was, look at these two guys that won the World Series. And it was DeGrom and fucking Scherzer, a guy who was injured for months and a guy who pitched like shit and got hurt during the fucking playoffs. And I'm like, what the hell did we ever do to you guys?
Right,
so,
right.
And the face of the fan base hates us more than anybody. Fucking Frank the Tank is the fucking internet feeds of the Mets. So it's just tough being a Mets fan. And I wish nothing but the best. I mean, the Lions, would you say Lions are the most tortured fan base in football?
Jets.
I think
they're never good.
But I agree with that in the sense of, but then they don't get their hopes up. Like Bills fans get their hopes up and they're like, we got it. And then they just get miserably cut down. Like it's brutal. So I don't know which is worse to have the carrot dangled in front of you and almost get it, or just there never be any carrot and you just know it's misery.
Yeah, they had 4 Super Bowls in a row, which is like crazy if the internet was around for all that and just all the hell they would have went through for that, along with just like the misery. Then they went like years without obviously a playoffs, let alone a win. Then they had like the dynasty of the Patriots in their division. And then once Brady, like the boogeyman leaves, Mahomes becomes their new boogeyman and just beat them again in their building. So I think it's Jets, Lions, Bills, and Browns are the 4 that can throw their name in the ring. And I think the Lions and the Browns both going winless in a season and never having a super. At least the Jets have 69.
Nice.
But like nice. The Lions and the Browns not having anything, I think kind of gives them a little edge up in my book. And the worst part is the Browns had such a fun season, and now they get like the scumbag quarterback back next year. That's going to take every piece of good juju away from them instantly.
Yeah,
that's the tale of the Browns, though. You know, they had Baker Mayfield. He kind of, after they didn't win a game, he comes back and he gets them in good position, and he's gone. Now Joe Flacco came in, at the end of the season. Now they had a pretty good season going on and took him to the playoffs, and now he's going to probably be gone because they got Deshaun Watson. They got him all this money that they got to pay him anyway, so might as well get something out of it. But other teams that are having some problems also, coaches more necessarily, is Belichick. He's only got 2 more places he's got to go to, Commanders or the Seahawks, and I don't think he's going to go to either of them. I think he's going to find some consultant job with one of those, like with one of these teams around, because I don't think he wants to go to either of those situations.
Yeah, someone was saying that like they might have to, if Belichick came in, they'd have to like overhaul their whole coaching roster, and he's too old. It's weird. You'd think Bill Belichick would have been. Everyone was saying he's going to go to the Cowboys. Cowboys kept McCarthy. I don't know. I feel like I'd want Belichick. Wouldn't you, Clem? Like, wouldn't you?
I can't tell you how many Giants fans have tweeted me the old pictures of Bill Belichick wearing his sweet red Giants jacket after winning Super Bowl 25 against the Bills. And they're like, bring him back as head coach, defensive coordinator. Obviously, we fired Wink. So I love him as defensive coordinator. He'll obviously never do that. I do feel like there is a chance that if Belichick is a free agent next year and Dable has another bad season, the Mariners would be like, fuck it, let's just bring Bill back home. He's always loved the Giants. It's like a known thing. It's like the one other team he truly loves in his heart, along with the Patriots. So it's crazy. I thought he was definitely going to Atlanta because they seemed to like put the full court press on him right off the bat. And I was actually kind of all right when Raheem Morris got hired there because he seemed to be like someone that the players really like, and he might have learned. He was like comically young when he was the Bucks coach, and he didn't really have the quarterback, whatever. And then Big T wrote in his blog that he was their interim coach back in 2020, and then they let him go. How the fuck did that much change? You went from he's not good enough to hire full time to we're going to turn down the greatest coach of all time for him like 3 years later. And a lot of people are saying this is like just corporate nonsense where a lot of people in the Falcons are like, if Bill comes in, we're all gonna lose our jobs. He's gonna bring in like Joe Judge and Matt Patricia and Josh McDaniel and his sons to run the entire organization, and we're all fucked. And that does feel like it could have been what happened here, which would be, and then of course the Falcons live in misery, who are a low-key tortured fan base. Bill Belichick wins the Super Bowl somewhere else, and it's like 28-3 in real life. They had Bill Belichick in their fucking hands, and they just let him go. So it is kind of crazy how it all panned out.
Either way, I mean, there's going to be a lot of, speculation on every team that doesn't want to pick him up because for that exact reason. And it seems petty, but like that could be the way of the business, maybe they're not talking about it or saying it, but they're not making progress to try to get him or try to fill that shoe for someone that's going to take their job away. Everybody needs a paycheck.
I wish he was hired just because when the Eagles and Cowboys both lost like within 24 hours, which was an awesome weekend for me. And then I'm like, oh shit, the Belichick can go to one of these teams and now be in the NFC East. And I was like, oh fuck. Now, if he doesn't get hired, he's then out there next season. Both those coaches are probably on thin ice. And if either of them underperform, then we got Bill Belichick. I don't want the hoodie in the NFC East unless he's coaching the Giants, and even then. So I'm very nervous about all this. I think the Commanders are probably hiring Ben Johnson from the Lions, right? I feel like that's kind of been the name they've been linked to. Seahawks, they could go. Seahawks feel like they go with like the cool, fun guy out of nowhere, maybe. Dan Quinn, I think, was linked to them a bunch as well. But I don't see Belichick going there, right?
And then Vrabel is just like lost in the mix as well. Which I feel like was the front runner at one point. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we wouldn't want Vrabel.
I thought Vrabel was going to be like Andy Reid. He got fired by the Eagles at like noon, and at 1 o'clock, the Chiefs hired him. I thought Vrabel was going to be the new version of that, and apparently not. And again, Vrabel, I don't want him going to the Cowboys or the Eagles too, so I'm a little nervous about all this. I will say, I'm kind of like a football nerd with a lot of stuff. I'd love to see Belichick like on a TV, network or either studio, games, whatever it may be. I think he'd be awesome. And I think
you think he would open up and like talk like more than he would at press conferences when he's just with the media.
Let that man talk about a special teams lefty punter, and he'll go on for 30 minutes.
Yeah, you basically have to put him like lefty. You have to put a podium in front of him because he'll just like have a boner as he starts talking about some sort of special teams like trick play from the 70s that like he once was like coaching for. It would be awesome. The NFL Network, he's done a lot of cool stuff for, and it's like you just see the glisten. To have him talk about Lawrence Taylor, that could be an hour's worth of content right there on itself. So
have it like written in his contract. It's like, this man will get boners on set talking about football. It's okay. It's not sexual harassment. It's just a football boner, and that's what guys do.
They should do like the Manning cast, but it's him and Saban, and they're like the grumpy old guys from the Muppets, and they're just like ripping apart everybody on Monday.
I'd love that. I'd watch.
You think Belichick would ever throw in any jabs? Like, yeah, well, you couldn't do it in the NFL. Like you always just, and then I could see it. I could see Belichick thinking that's funny, and then Nick Saban just getting absolutely pissed and then just fighting, throwing hands at each other. Which reminds me, buy rnr.com. You can buy it till February 4th. The fight's, nonstop action. I've gone to a couple myself. I've been live at 2 of them. Incredible, just the atmosphere is amazing there. But just wanted to throw that in there.
The segues in this are fantastic. For a first-time host.
Clem, you were talking about Andy Reid, and do you think it's possible that he could lose his job after this season because there's a little bit of out of the locker room problems going on between Pat Mahomes' dad and Taylor Swift? He says he doesn't want to sit next to him. He says, I hope not, because obviously he doesn't want to come after or be next to Taylor Swift with all the cameras that are going to be on her because, maybe he might be doing some things that he doesn't want put out there. But when you got to expect you're in a stadium like that, you're going to be on camera all the time.
Yeah, I saw this quote. I saw it. Marty blogged the blog and he did it perfectly where he's like, drama. Patrick Mahomes' dad says he doesn't want to sit next to Taylor Swift. And I was like, oh shit, he said that. So I looked everywhere for the quote. I could not find like an audio of it. It was a WFAN, a New York radio station. There was one tweet from one of the aggregator like football Twitter accounts or whatever. And I'm just like, this is where we are now. And I just love how ridiculous it is. Patrick Mahomes, Taylor Swift, Jason Kelsey, just put those buzzwords together, crumple it in a ball, and just watch the clicks come in. I fuck it. Like I wouldn't want. Let's all be honest. Like if you're watching your kid play, you probably don't want your suite just having the fucking Hawkeye HD cameras on you the entire time. For every time if you want to just pick your nose or just do something like that, you're gonna get caught in in 4K, as the kids say. No, thank you.
Can I interrupt real quick with the buzzwords? The craziest thing I've ever seen was today. There was an article from like TMZ that came out. Jim Irsay was found unresponsive like back in December or whatever. They included the fact that the police officer was in his car at 4:30 in the morning driving there, listening to Taylor Swift. They're like, he was blaring Taylor Swift, whatever the song was on his. And it's like, how is that relevant to the thing at all? But it's like Taylor Swift is such a buzzword that it's going to get clicks. Insane.
All I want to say about this is you can take Pat Mahomes' dad's side or you can take Taylor Swift's side. And I'm going to take Taylor Swift's side every single time because you do not want to go against the Swifties when it comes. I mean, how can you say anything bad about Taylor Swift? She's amazing. And my girlfriend Allie would definitely be happy that I said that because she would kill me if I say anything bad about Taylor Swift. So I'm on Team Swift all day. Pat Mahomes' dad, get a different box.
And Keegs is not in the office right now, so she doesn't have like a gun pointed at Tyler right now.
Yeah. Say it. Did Pat Mahomes' dad play with Darryl Strawberry?
No. If he didn't, so Pat Mahomes, in a very odd like coincidence, Pat Mahomes, his dad, was like my favorite Met of the 1999 Mets. He was like the bullpen guy that could give you like he could go long if he had to. And I don't know, he like always came through. I was like, I just love Pat Mahomes. And then this kid came out of nowhere and became like the greatest quarterback I've seen, this early in his career. And I'm like, is that the same guy? So I'm not going to take a stand and go against the Swifties here. I'm just going to say, if Pat Mahomes is in his box by himself, I'd love to join him. I'm just going to say it. I don't want to piss Keys off.
Wouldn't mind being in Taylor Swift's box either. Next topic, Kayshon Boutte. I think I'm saying that right. 8,900 illegal bets while playing for LSU. In 13 months, he placed 8,900 bets. That comes out to over 22 bets per day. 17 of them were based on the NCAA. 6 of them were bet on LSU while playing at LSU. Yeah, he's in some deep shit, right? Deep water right now. Oops.
Oh, you can cuss. You can cuss.
My mom
let it rip. Let it rip, Tyler.
Shit. It feels good.
Say the C word. Say the C word.
No. But yeah, I mean, I guess placing illegal bets, lying about his age. Yeah, that sucks. But I mean, they kind of dragged their feet on this. I mean, now he's in New England or played for New England and they're now getting him. Like, all right, brush it under the water. I mean, I think he at one point had, like, deposited $130,000 into his account and then pulled it out when it was down to $51,000. Well, where is a college football player getting $130,000? Oh wait, NIL.
And before NIL, it was under the table, right? Except for UCF, they do everything by the books. We know that.
Have to, absolutely.
I'd love to know who Kayshon is picking in this weekend's game because I think I want to fade him even more than you, Tyler. I saw he bet on himself, I believe, in one of his bets. And it was like over amount of yards or whatever, and to win the game, and he didn't get that, and they lost. So he's just not very good. We always say bet responsibly here at Barstool Sports. So this is an example of irresponsible gambling. And what the illegal part was? He was just too young. Was that?
It was underage, and he was probably doing it. It was a little bit not given all the information in a bunch of articles I was reading. Like he wasn't old enough, and he was doing it in states that it wasn't legal. So double dinger. Got caught trying to make a point out of him. I mean, is he going to go to jail? I don't know. I haven't looked at the statutes. Was it in Louisiana he got arrested? I don't know.
And he's not going to be able to pay his NFL contract. Sounds like the salary from the NFL is not going to be coming in too much longer. So he's going to have to figure out either get better at handicapping or just stop betting because I don't think his pro career is that much longer in it.
Roger Goodell is the no fun league, so he's not going to want anybody to enjoy having fun. So, he's breaking the rules. Done. And maybe we'll see him in 5 years on a practice squad. Then last topic, Anthony Kim took out a 10 million insurance policy when he got hurt. He's been out for like 12 years. I think John Rich told me 12 years, some long thing. If he decides he wants to play for the PGA or live, then he has to give that $10 million back. He's deciding that he does want to come back and he's going to be betting on himself, hopefully making that money back. I think he could. I mean, it's golf. There's a million tournaments. You can win all this money and it's better than not playing golf ever again.
Yeah.
Vibs, what's your Anthony Kim take, Vibs? I got to hear the Vibs, Anthony. I've been dying for this since the day I met you.
Thank you. But I feel like it's like you've been out of it for 12 years. Like coming back after 12 years off is tough. But at the same time, you can also just like play with your friends. I assume like the rush and the adrenaline isn't as great as being a PGA golfer and like being a professional golfer and doing that. But I don't know, $10 million. Will he make that back? Like what's the last place golfer get in a tournament?
Well, I think
like
they got to make the cut, don't they?
What's that?
They got to make the Thursday cut or the Friday cut, or is
no?
I don't know. What's the lowest amount you could like take home?
Well, with Liv, it could be a billion.
Right. Yeah. You just get a bag for being awful. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're willing to pay you.
Seems
Yeah.
like
I don't
a
know.
good chance.
If it's me, if you give me $10 million, you're never seeing me again. I'm moving to fucking Wyoming and I'll golf on the worst golf courses ever and just enjoy my 10 million.
Yeah, I don't get this either. I like you have the $10 million. I don't like if you're telling me Liv is like we got to get Anthony Kim on the tour and they're going to give him that Saudi money to bring him in. I guess I kind of remember Anthony Kim. I don't remember him being like awesome or I feel like he's probably good young. He's not young anymore, obviously. Here, he had but like once you get the 10 mil, just vanish, disappear. Like you said, you play with your boys. Like you're gonna be the shittiest guy. Now, Vibs, when you said what is the guy who come in last get, I think Happy Gilmore says that verbatim when he starts golfing, and I think you do get something. You just don't get the big check. I guess you could ask. He ends up asking for the big check and gets the big check, but you probably get a little something. So like, I guess that's another way to go around. But like, are you going to get $10 million worth?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. How long will it take you to get up to 10 million? Tyler, what's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
There's a bunch of them. I mean, Longest Yard was the one that was the first movie to make me cry when Caretaker went into the cell. And
Yep.
So Longest Yard, schoolyard bullshit.
Wow, that was not even on my radar. I thought we were going with. I'm old, so the original Sandlers. I fucking saw them in the movie theater. I'm sold, but it's always like, are you a Billy Madison guy or a Happy Gilmore guy? Maybe you're a Big Daddy guy, wedding singer, or you're like a Mr. Deeds or something. And you dropped, or maybe Grown Ups. I don't know. You dropped fucking Longest Yard, but that's a little more serious. I respect that.
Okay. I'm an athlete. I like watching sports. I'm not a nerd, so like, I'm just kidding.
You're calling me a nerd, motherfucker?
No, of course not. Not at all.
Vibs, what's your favorite Adam Sandler? I got to hear your take on this.
I'd probably say Billy Madison. I could also be swayed to Big Daddy, and then Happy Gilmore. I think those are the big three. I agree with you. Longest Yard was a bit of a curveball, but it was sad. I remember seeing that in theaters with my friends for someone's birthday and just
all the stars in that, like Michael Irvin, Nelly, like there was a billion. I mean, the list goes on. And it was a funny movie, had sports involved,
The cheeseburger guy, I remember that.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, what? Yeah. Burt Reynolds, I think. Is that?
Yeah, Burt Reynolds, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Oh, speaking of R.I.P., today is the 4-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant tragically losing their lives in the helicopter crash. So R.I.P. Mamba and Mama Bita, I think is how you say the name. Do you guys remember where you were when that happened, when you heard the news?
I was watching Indiana versus Maryland, and I think Indiana blew like a 20-point lead, and I was just like on my phone, like, there's no way that this news is real. I wasn't even paying attention to Indiana blowing a 20-point lead, which is crazy.
Yeah, I was in the bunker here and I see it and I'm like, all right, am I blogging this? And is it real? You're going through I think TMZ was the first one to report it. And you're like, that's the legit account, but you still need to get a couple more sources there. And then I'm just like, how the fuck do you it just didn't seem real. And I was like, and I'm telling you, I can't prove this, but from that moment on, everything just sucked. Because that's when the pandemic just starts spreading and then 2020 hits. Tyler fucking walks from Brooklyn to New York. Pandemic comes, everything shuts down, fucking world's in disarray. So that was when you said RIP, I thought you were gonna say Jesse James passed away yesterday. That was an RIP as well. And
Who's
then
that?
he dropped it. Nice. That's a good man. He knows his mom's watching the program. That's a good, very smart Tyler. So yeah, RIP Mamba. Still just it still is crazy when you just see like Kobe Bryant, like he's not alive anymore. It just that always like breaks my brain.
Right.
Yeah. All right. After show, we talked about it a little bit before the show. Nate's Nate's monologue to begin it. You know, he said he wants to be the bad guy. He wants to live the bad boy life, calling out a couple people like Kelly Keegs, Francis, and then, you know, also doing some shots with Dave with Dante the Don's help. And Vibs, you were in there with them. I mean,
I was in there with them. You couldn't see me for half of it, but
we saw half your face, you know.
Yeah, it was kind of like I don't know, I felt like I was in the shadows, just pulling strings. Yeah, the dog pound radio is here. I thought it was good. I think it's a solid show. I think it's what we need on a Friday. Bring in the dog, take his leash off.
Do you think he should have gone after Francis a little bit more, or do you think he pulled back because Francis brought in 100 bagels into the office today?
Francis was he knew Nate was going to go in on him. He was thrown for a loop, and he didn't know what to do. This morning he woke up 5 a.m., said he went to the gym, worked out with all the lights off. Then he got into work, and he was like, I don't know what to do. Just bought like 1,000 bagels for the office. There's way too many bagels. There's not 1,000 people that work here, obviously.
It's 1,000 bagels?
It was not 1,000. That's an exaggeration. I apologize.
Okay.
But it was like 100 bagels, maybe, I'd say. I'm not that good at eyeballing bagels, but it looked like 100 bagels.
It's not a bad idea. Try to hopefully, Nate eats a couple, he gets a little sleepy, maybe doesn't come out as like strong, but he brought it, I guess, right? And all right, now since you're there for that, are you going to be in every week? Is it going to be you, John Rich, are going to be, and Clemmer will be in the rotation?
John Rich and Clemmer, I believe so. Yeah.
Is it like you're just like, oh boy, what's going to happen now? Like, I don't do well with knowing there's drama, and especially when there's coworkers there or coworkers you have to then see later on that weekday, whatever it may be.
We had no idea what the dog was going to do. Like, he wouldn't tell us what was happening, like what he had planned. So the whole like going after Francis and Keegs in the beginning was all just like, all right, here we are. This is what's going on. And I mean, I'm not really a drama person. I'm more of a vibes, fun. Let's be funny. Let's make a good show. That's my job, is to be funny. So I was like, all right. But no, I think he did a great job. I think it'll be a Nate radio on Fridays. I think will be a staple as long as Dave is okay with it.
Clemmer was a good mediator throughout the whole thing. I mean,
Clemmer's great. Yeah.
He came in with all guns blazing, even with the little back problems he's going through. He battled through that adversity and came out firing, keeping up with Nate's energy through that whole thing.
Yeah, Clemmer gets a little upset whenever we call him an old man, but he pulled his back reaching for the remote last night.
Oh no.
Like, that's the biggest old man move of all time. Doing nothing. You just
You gotta lie about that when you go to the office. Be like, I got mugged. Someone tried to mug me and I pulled my back or something.
Hey, when you leave here, be careful. I got mugged last night on my way out of the office. It's war out there.
Oh,
all right.
Man.
Anything else you guys want to add?
Good work. Good job.
I think you did a great job.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Get that credit card ready for next year. We'll have you back on a year later, right?
Oh yeah, one more thing I want to add about that is I kind of cheated on the.
Don't tell me you returned shit. I was going to ask you. Did you return shit?
No, I didn't return anything. Everything that I bought, but I had a bunch of friends and stuff. Tell me what they were going to order and all that, and I want to thank them. And I just put it all in one order. Ended up, I think it was $1,020.67. I do have a couple shout outs I told them I would do if you guys don't mind. Shout out my throwback softball team, beating West End on Wednesday. Good dub. Seminole High School football, the greatest high school football team in the nation. Had Billy Napier from Florida, had UCF Gus Malzahn by there, among other coaches and stuff. And then also my old YouTube channel from like 7 years ago this summer. We changed the name. It's Sweet Lagoon Productions. If you want to check it out, shout out DJ. He was my producer on that. And then for the guy who cut my hair before coming up to the trip, Henry at Sagas Cuts. If you guys want a fresh cut, definitely go to him. No free ads. Just kidding.
The cut's looking good. The stash. You look like you could maybe throw some hands at the future of Rough and Rowdy, which is again, still available through February 4th on pay-per-view. $20, best $20 you could spend. Would you ever consider that?
Yeah, I would love to give high fives to people at Rough and Rowdy. I'm not stepping out. That's the only hands I'll be throwing.
Also, I'd like to shout out my fantasy football team again. Straight Cash Homie, current reigning champions of Sienatoga Fantasy Football. Vibs, you have anyone to shout out?
I'd like to shout out the Indiana Pacers. They went belt to ass last night against the 76ers without Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton, he's a starter on the All-Star team. He got first in fan vote, first in media vote, first in player vote.
Oh, is that shade of Jalen Brunson here? Are we good? There's going to become another Knicks fucking Pacers rivalry.
There is, though. I can't wait. I can't wait for there's a chance they could meet in the playoffs. Right now, the Bucks are who I hate the most. And the fact that Dame got in over Brunson, I think is insane.
Yeah. I'm going to the Knicks game tomorrow, and I'm actually going to be buying a Jalen Brunson jersey and a Knicks hat because they told me I had to wear Knicks gear. And so go Knicks and fuck the Heat.
Who are they playing?
Welcome to the team, Tyler. Yeah, fuck the Heat. That's right, baby. I like even more now. I didn't think that was possible.
That's sweet of you.
Don't bet the Knicks tomorrow, though. Please do not bet the Knicks tomorrow. No offense.
Promise. All right, that's the rundown.